Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started this evening. This is more of a touch base, and I think we'll probably get into a little bit of Q&A. I've had some emails come in asking me if I would kind of go over and cover, jump up to the portfolio and touch on it a little bit. So we'll kind of do a little quick review. Hopefully I won't freeze up. I don't know for sure if it was my screen or Kate's, but we'll do the best we can. So. Real quickly, before we get started, I want to pass on some updated news from Dr. Brooks. You guys noticed I pushed out an email on her behalf to try to provide some clarification from a discussion that took place in a session she had the other night. And I think there were some concerns maybe that were expressed to her, where a few of you had discovered looking at your LAL certificate, there was a discrepancy on a date, and then also comparing that to your graduation plan and how the classes were laid out. So the email, if you noticed, I sent to you, talked about there was an mistake on the part of the KSDE, and that she had made contact with them and was going to get that corrected. So she did make contact with them, and they were going to move on it. In my email, I put, please note, or please be advised that may take up to 30 days to show up. Well, Dr. Brooks reached out to me yesterday, and lo and behold, the contact person she had, it was like warp speed with that individual, and that correction has already been made on your certificate. So if you go to start looking at that, retrieve it, however you review it, that has been corrected. So I just kind of wanted to pass that on.
I can confirm that. Yeah, KSD reached out with an email to me, and it's already been moved. The date has been moved out. Yeah.
So I just wanted to pass that on behalf of Dr. Brooks. She knew I was going to do the Thursday evening meeting, and I just wanted to pass it on. So I don't know if the rest of you received an email or any type of correspondence from them, but it has been corrected. So good news. It was quick. A lot quicker than we anticipated. So, okay, moving on to the next thing. We're going to talk a little bit about CBM. I've had some questions come up, so I'll go ahead. If you have any specifics, I'll be glad to answer any of that. And then I made a few notes, and I'll go address the questions there. So I'll just kind of open it up. Looking at the CBM assignment, does anybody have any specific question you'd like to ask?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So I was going to send you an email, but I found out that we don't really use CBMs in my school. It's a preschool, but we do the AEPS, but we don't have any of the activities or in-depth evaluations a part of it. We literally just get the kind of eligibility part of the AEPS. So I was thinking that I could use that and try to expand on the evaluations that I give her. Would that be okay?
You can do that. We're running, yeah, certainly you can. The challenging part has been for anything like up in the high school, and then anything below like that first grade. So if you have located that, you certainly can use that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who has another question?
I'm kind of this is more to let you know, I'm in kind of a strange situation. I did the CBM, or well, it's an informal assessment early on.
Yeah, right.
Then I got 1 week of informal assessment in our 6 weeks, and my kid went home with COVID.
Okay.
So I have 2 weeks here, and he's supposed to be, if he tests clear, coming back the 8th. So he's been
yeah. Okay.
Just so if when you get my data, it's going to look funny.
Okay. Yeah. No, I know during the time of COVID, we try to be as flexible as we can to try to help out, because there are some circumstances that not only this semester, but the previous semesters during COVID that were out of your control as a grad student. And so we've just tried to work through those and be as flexible as we can with you. So thanks for pointing that out and bringing that to my attention. So I appreciate it.
The teacher the kindergarten teacher finds it kind of funny because she's had 2 weeks with over half of her class out
Yeah,
because they all showed up. She was vaccinated, and a small group of like 8 out of a class of 19 kids didn't show up with COVID.
wow. Hitting pretty hard then.
Did they all test positive or did they all just have to go home due to contact
Quarantine.
tracing?
They went home, contact tracing. One of the kids showed up positive. The others went home, and when they did a test before they came back, they tested positive.
Yeah.
All of
The
them?
others, ironically, half of the others were absent on the day that the kid showed up with COVID. And the other 4 just somehow slipped
You're-
by.
You're seeing that with the Delta variant more than you did with the previous wave, where like when you do contact tracing, like if they're on a quarantine, where about between day 5 and 7, those students end up getting sick and testing positive. So that has been more common with the Delta variant. So I totally get what you're saying. So, okay. Any other questions?
Well,
CBM.
My
Go ahead.
question is very similar to his, is I hadn't originally picked a student and I did the CBM twice with him, and then he got put into a state mental health thing for an undetermined amount of time. He's still not back. I picked another student and I got the first test done with him and he just went on quarantine.
Okay. Do you have any type of contact with these students while they're out on quarantine, as far as by Zoom to provide any type of instruction? Are you guys?
I may be able to do like a phone thing. I don't think
Okay.
that he can do Zoom right now. He doesn't have like a device or anything
Okay.
at his house. I'm just sending work to him through a friend that lives near him that's just dropping off the homework to him. So it's not like I can test him distantly that way.
Okay. Okay. And you're sending some things home. Okay, so as far as what type of assessment are you doing as far as for your CBM? Is it like for a reading? Is it for some math skills? What?
I was gonna do the reading one.
Okay. All right. So it'd be hard to do that by just sending something unless, yeah. Okay. Now, here's something else we can do. If you guys like Jim and yours, and if we get into an extended deal like that, we can go in and do an extension on this to allow you some time to complete that. Okay. And so don't panic on me. I've done that on some other ones, previous semesters we got into. Okay. So I'll work with you on that and give you time for when that student comes back, and that way you can get your data, and then we'll meet one-on-one by Zoom, whoever we do the extension with, and we'll come up with the agreement and an adequate amount of time to give you to complete that. Does that sound fair enough? I've done that before. Jim, same way?
That sounds good, yeah.
My first thought is when he comes back, instead of testing once a week,
Yeah.
test twice a week.
Yeah.
And it may push me. We have a whole week off for Thanksgiving. It may push me right close to the end of the semester,
Yeah.
closer than it should be.
Okay. That's all right. Just you guys that are in that situation, just
Yeah.
make sure you keep me updated by email so we can communicate. And then if we need to do a private one-on-one Zoom to work out a little extended date, we can do that. on
Okay.
that. Okay, so it's not going to be the end of the world. It'll all work out. I've had to do it before, so just make sure you keep me in the loop. Okay.
Right.
Anyone else on CBM? Any hurdle you've had similar to Molly and Jim that you're fearful is going to delay you a little bit, or anything on the CBM itself that I could answer for you? Okay. One question I did have, I'm gonna go ahead and address. It was to me in an email, and it was want to know if it had to maybe be exactly like the sample that was in the 805 resources on the CBM report. It does not have to be exactly like that. If you are used to and comfortable with the format you've used on the informal and the norm reference, you can continue to set it up like that. One of the examples that was given on that page is set up a little different. So I don't know if that's what's maybe caused a little bit of confusion or maybe some questions, but just continue to set it up in the format that you've used up to this point, and you'll be fine. It's just you'll have maybe an additional section to add in there on the probes. If you look at the rubric, it's going to ask you, to identify the probe, the frequency of the probe, any type of adjustments you had to make through administering that. So that section is somewhat new compared to the previous 2 reports that you've done. But you would just add that section in there. So all you would do. So you can use this pretty much the same format. You're just adding that section in.
Dr. Posey, I was wondering, the intervention line, what exactly do you mean? Because each assessment, I mean, I guess I feel like it's an ongoing intervention, so I'm not sure about what you meant by graphing the intervention line.
So were you able to look at the resources on there? Did it show the graph?
I glanced at them. I
Okay.
haven't, I need to
So
go into more
If you'll
details.
go back in there, so you're going to establish your aim line, and then you're going to have a line in there for where your interventions would occur. It's going to be like the intervention point.
Okay,
So if you'll go back on that 805 resource, it's going to show you a graph on there as an example how to do that.
okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with all
No,
of them.
you're fine. You're fine. Anyone else having questions? CBM? No? Okay, if not, I'm gonna jump over real quick to the portfolio. I had some email questions. I just want to kind of touch base on it. To make sure, I'm gonna clarify, has everyone identified the portfolio template in Blackboard? Everybody knows exactly where that's at, okay. So using that, you're going to create your introduction section within there. Your introduction is simply going to be 5 to 8 sentences, just kind of giving a brief intro to what information will be seen within that portfolio. Okay. So you're literally creating that 5 to 8 sentences. It doesn't have to be a full long page or page and a half. It's very brief.
Dr. Posey, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have not yet located the template. I mean, I've located. Okay.
Let me do a screen share and I'll pop it up and show
Okay.
you.
Yeah, I've got the lesson plan template, but
Nope. Hang on just a minute. Let me get over here to. Bear with me just a second. I'm gonna try to. Oh, that wrong one. Bear with me. Now I think I can do it. Yep, there we go. I'm gonna close out that and then I'm gonna basically start over. So let's just go down. I'm gonna say I'm in BE. And so on your left-hand side, you're gonna see create portfolios here. And everyone see my cursor on that on the left-hand column in Blackboard. Click on it. And I've got it on there twice. You just click on your portfolio's homepage. And you go right up here where it says create portfolio. I got my cursor, I'm just kind of circling create portfolio. Everybody see that? Okay, just click on it. You'll start it, you'll title it and select the portfolio template. And then you'll hit submit and it'll start it. And I'm gonna go back and show you one that I think I'd erased it. Let me get back over into section D. One of mine copied over. Taking it off. Let me go back and find one that I've done. Sorry, confusing you. one that copied over Michelle.
You've mentioned, Dr. Posey, that Google works better because I know I looked at the lesson plan before, but I was pulling up the template while you were talking, and now it's saying it won't download
For
just the lesson plan template.
the lesson plan template?
Yeah. But I finish what you're doing. I don't mean to confuse.
Okay, and then you'll go in and create your template here and just hit submit, and then it'll pop up and you go in there and it'll have the multiple sections and you title it introduction. You'll pop it, then you'll go down to section 2 and you would title it informal lesson plan. And it'll give you a place to upload it where you search for the file on your computer. And then you'll create the section for the video and upload it. So Michelle's question was, I met with her the other night and I told her, sometimes when you're doing the portfolio and you try to upload your video into the portfolio template, depending on what browser you are using, it may appear as if the file is just frozen. It's sitting there, you can see the wheel spinning, and you could sit there and look at that for 5 hours and it's going to do the same thing. So we see that's common with Internet Explorer and Mozilla Firefox. We don't see it as often with Chrome if your browser is Chrome. Okay. Another way to do to maybe avoid that issue, I shared with Michelle, is if you used Zoom to do your recording, and then you take that Zoom file and you upload it and create a YouTube link, and then just copy your YouTube link and paste it into the portfolio where you would upload that video, and I can click on that link. It'll take me right over to YouTube to see it, just like I do on these videos when I post them. After we do a Zoom class, that's basically all I'm doing is going on my Google email account, go to YouTube, and then you have work create video, and it'll let you upload that file, and it'll upload it into YouTube and create a link for you. So I mean that's another way to maybe avoid having to try to upload it where it just freezes and hangs up. So I don't know how comfortable any of you guys are with making YouTube videos from Zoom. It's just a couple clicks. So it's pretty quick and easy to do. So after we do the introduction, your next 3 tabs will be your lesson plans using that template form that's in SPED 805 resources. Okay. All you have to do is upload the lesson plan template for the informal, one for the norm reference, one for the CBN. You do not have to upload the reports along with it that you've already submitted, I've reviewed and sent back to you. You do not have to upload that, only the lesson plan for each one of those. Okay. Next section you'll do in the portfolio after the 3 lesson plans is where you will do the mock IEP. You can do that at home, at your kitchen table. You can do it in your home office. You can do it in your classroom. And literally, you're going to act as if the team is there with you. You'll go around and introduce them as if they are literally there to participate. And then you will go right into presenting the information. And then the last section will be the conclusion. Much like the introduction, it just simply has to be 5 to 8 sentences just to conclude the video to conclude the portfolio and the content that was in there, and wrap up your portfolio, and that's it.
So the mock interview obviously is about the student that you're doing
It's about the student that you've been testing. Now, if you have had to use multiple students, and that has occurred, okay, you can still make this work. So you will use all the data that you've collected, even though it's from multiple students, that's fine. And just select one of them to use in the video as far as if you were doing the meeting on that student, Johnny Joe. I'll just use that as an example. If I had Johnny Joe and Susie Q and Molly in there, Molly's right there. I can see her name, so I just pulled it out. And so I'm just going to say, okay, I'm going to use for this video, I'm going to use Molly. She's my fictitious student. And I'm going to just present this as if it all belongs to Molly. It's all her data from the testing. Okay. And then you'll just proceed like it all was collected from Molly. So if you've had to use multiple students, that's all you would simply have to do. Okay. Any questions on that? Molly, any questions? I'm picking on her tonight. Jim, are you good? I don't know if he's, here you are. Are you good, Jim? Thumbs up. Kate, what about you?
I'll figure it out. Well, okay, so when we go in to create the portfolio, there isn't a template already created that we go in and that has, I don't know, a box for the intro and a box for the lesson plans or an upload here. We have to, because, okay, I'm in the create portfolio. I'm at the point where I can make a title, which will be this class's whatever assessment report, right?
Yep.
And then
mock IEP or
okay.
or yeah.
And then if I select the portfolio template and then it says search for a template and there's nothing there.
Okay, I'll just say.
So I'm not, that's where I get stuck, I guess.
Hang on just a second.
So this is all for the portfolio. I mean, okay, I just want to make sure I didn't.
Okay, so this will literally walk you through. Okay, I get into the first step. So what I'm going to do to get you back. So literally where it says general information, right when you're first trying this, you're going to put in, and I just made this up. This is going to be a portfolio for SPED 805 testing lab. I'm going to go down the bottom right, click submit. Okay. The next message, it says getting started with portfolio. It'll give you a brief little tour, or you can drop right down. It says no thanks, I'll explore on my own. If you want to take the tour, it's going to walk you through a little brief tutorial that'll walk you through step by step. Or myself, I do better if I just explore. Explore.
That's
I mean,
me.
I learn better that way.
Yeah, I
Okay,
do
so
too.
I would just do that. Here we go. Page 1. I'm going to change page 1. Page 1 is going to be lesson plans. If I could type.
So that's what is kind of, I would have been intimidated hitting submit, thinking that I was turning in an assignment that didn't have anything.
No. It won't let you submit anything blank. It's going to make you go through some steps. So lesson plan, then section 1, add an artifact. Okay, so I'm going to go to my computer, say personal artifact. You'll see I got my cursor up here now. Do I want to add a personal artifact or from the course? Well, I'm going to go add a personal one. Title, I'm going to put the title on there, lesson plan 1. Okay, I'm going to go down, browse my local files off my computer. I'm going to hit it, find it, upload it, submit. Go down to the next section.
Okay.
Okay, so just create your portfolio title and then go down there and hit submit, and it will give you the option. It will do a little tutorial, or you can do like Dr. Posey and just gamble and explore on your own.
Okay, that clarifies it.
Yeah.
That was the missing piece that I hadn't processed yet. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. And you don't have to do it all at once. You can actually just go in there and kind of create it and then come back to it and add to it. Okay.
So like I could go in, say tonight, and create all my headers.
Yeah, you can.
And then
Go back and add
go
to it.
back in and tomorrow night write the intro.
Yeah,
And then a couple, next week I could go, after I get my lesson plans all written, I can go upload
there you go.
those.
Yep,
And
it
it's
is.
just, I just find it by the title when I go back in.
It will,
Okay.
when you go back in, it will say Kate's portfolio or whatever you named it. It'll show it
Okay.
there. Then it's gonna give you a box under Kate's portfolio. It's gonna say edit, view, and then there's one other tab. I can't remember what it is, but you would just hit edit. It's gonna pop it up and it'll let you go back in there and start making updates.
Okay.
Okay,
And then when it's all done and ready to submit, somewhere there's a final submit.
there's a
button.
final submit button. That's correct.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome. Anyone else have any portfolio questions I could answer for you?
I just have a clarifying question. When we're filling out the template, because we've had to do it 2 different ways, and it's asking for the standards. Are we supposed to put the actual standards like R.1K, whatever, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
plus what the description is?
No, you can just put the literal standard number.
Okay, so we don't have to put a description in there.
No,
For
not for
what?
this, not for me, and not on this particular little portfolio. I'm calling this like a mini compared to the big one you may have to do. So
Okay.
for me and my class, I just want you to put the standard number in there. This,
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
you're welcome. Any other questions? Raquel, you good? Yeah. Okay. Did that on the portfolio as far as using that template and kind of seeing how to get to that point where you can do the little tutorial or search on your own? Did that kind of help you guys out and make it a little bit more clear? Okay.
Definitely.
That's so helpful for me because I think I would have been too afraid to get started, that just the submit
Oh, yeah,
Um,
thank you.
means final
Yeah.
to me.
Oh, I
So-
know. Yeah, it's kind of misleading there. So yeah, once you go in there, basically, you're basically just going to create the portfolio title. Then you're going to submit it, and then it's going to lay out your template for you. And then you go in there and start editing.
Yeah, I think we're just trained to think of submit
Oh, I
as
know.
meaning a more final word.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I get it. Yeah. Everyone feel pretty good about everything? Yeah.
One other question, Dr. Posey.
Okay.
On the 805 resources tab.
Mhm.
I think that's where it was.
Here, I'll pop mine up. Bear with me. I'm just
Um,
gonna go into one here. You guys, I'm still screen sharing with you, so you should be able to see my screen. So I'm going to 805 resources.
Then on the, there's a sample, sample reports.
Yep.
And then in the sample reports, there's a, sample of assessment, the last one there, sample
Yep.
of assessment report.
Yep.
That's, you're not looking for that,
That's what scared me.
are you? I mean, that looks like the report that, the school site gives at
No.
my IEP meetings
No,
when
no,
they
no,
do
no.
a review.
No,
Okay,
this was just a sample, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying when we first started tonight, that there were some questions emailed about. They were confused after they saw the samples in here. These are some sample templates for you that are out there to kind of give you an idea of different ways to lay this out. And again, if you remember, I said, hey, if you feel confident and comfortable with the format you've been using on the informal and the norm reference, continue using that, because
Okay.
it's adequate. You're covering everything in the rubric, and it's fine. That's a very acceptable format. This is just another example. It does look
Okay.
a little bit more formalized, and for those of you that might have used the video I provided and I sent you the comprehensive report, that is overwhelming. It's about 15 pages and it's very in-depth and it's laid out differently. So This here that I've got popped up is literally just another example for you. It's not that that's what I expect.
Okay,
Right,
my
just-
concern was that you were looking for that as, I don't know, the script for the IEP
No.
meeting
No.
video or,
No.
okay.
No, I won't see a script for your IEP video.
I know
The
you
only
won't
thing-
see
yeah,
it, but I
yeah.
didn't know if you wanted us to use
Nope,
that as
nope.
our script. And
Nope, I don't. I'm on a matter of fact, bear with me a minute. I'm gonna go over to something really quick, and I think it might ease some anxieties or uncertainties for you. Literally, this is the rubric that I'm using as I'm going through. I literally lay these in front of me, and as I'm watching your video, I literally, every time I see all these points, I make a check right by it. That's how I track everything. I keep a form for every video, okay? And so as that video starts, I'm looking to see, did you hit all the points that are in here? Okay, so this is a CBM. Let me go on down to the video one, so let me actually get you to where I am. But literally, that's what I do, especially on the video. That's the easiest way for me to keep up and make sure that all the points are being hit. So this is the video section of the rubric in your syllabus right here. I've got the very thing pulled up. I have this in front of me. This is something I recommended to you a few meetings ago, that literally make you a little outline using this information and just kind of place it in front of you and glance down to help keep yourself on track. I go and look and see, did you introduce the team at the very beginning of the meeting? Did you state the purpose of the meeting? Purpose of the meeting is you want to present, you've done some assessments throughout the first semester of school going back to August, and you wanted to share the data that was collected and show progress, strengths and weaknesses of Johnny Joe moving forward, so you best know how to serve him. Then you're going to talk about, you're going to state what assessments you used and why you selected them. And so just literally, you just fall right down through this format right here. If you do that, you're going to be fine. One thing I want to refresh your memory on, and in the last Zoom meeting that we did, I talked about this specifically, and I'm going to go ahead and do it again tonight to remind you and refresh your memory, okay? It shows right here where it states present evidence of student performance in the format of tables, graphs, and/or sample of student work. You've been doing that all along in your papers, right? Every report you did for me, you were supposed to do that. Well, here we are. It's asking you to do this in the video. There's a couple ways to do it. If you feel comfortable with your technology and using Zoom and doing a screen share as you are recording your video, you could have everything already opened up and do a screen share and show the tables, charts, and graphs as you are doing the meeting. And that's one way you can present them so I see it. Okay, is everyone clear on that? Or you literally can hold up your table, chart, and graph and reference it just like I'm doing right now, holding it up in front of my camera as if I was presenting to the parent, and take a hard copy of that report and present it just like this by holding it up. Either way is acceptable, okay? Either way is acceptable in this video. Okay, you can do a screen share and show the ones off your screen, or you literally can hold it up and just kind of point your finger as you're referencing some of the data. Okay, either way works. So I just want to make sure everyone's clear on that.
And we can use the tables, charts, graphs we have already
Yeah.
provided in our reports. You're not
Yeah,
expecting us to redo those or?
No,
Okay.
you don't have to recreate the wheel here. You've already collected all this. You are presenting it to the team, to your parents that are in front of you, to the team. You don't have to go recreate anything. Okay. What basically what we're looking for in this video is the flow of the meeting and being confident in your presentation, okay? And Kate, I think the other night, maybe when I met with you or Michelle, I think it was Michelle, there's nothing worse than going to an IEP meeting and the teacher's not prepared and they're thumbing around. My thing is, what kind of message does that send? If you were a parent coming in for your child's meeting, what kind of impression does that make? You guys have done the assessments, you've collected the data, you've been immersed in it all semester long. This is yours, okay? So you've got it. You don't have to reinvent anything. You pretty much will know you've done this, okay? It's just being able to present it to your team members, the IEP teams, what it is, okay? One other thing I want to clarify that usually is a common question is when we get down here to short-term SMART goals and long-term. What I always recommend to the students when they're doing this, the short-term would be something that you would want to accomplish within a quarter or 9-week period. Long-term would be 1 semester or longer. Always say, hey, long-term is something from the meeting to perhaps when you do your annual review the following year. You want to accomplish it that far, that long in advance, okay? Long-term. Short-term, always recommend try to get it done, try to accomplish it in a quarter or 9-week period if you can, okay? So just kind of want to distinguish on that. Long-term is something you definitely want to accomplish before the next annual review comes up. Short-term, within a quarter if you can, okay? Here's another big one, okay? Is as you're getting close to the end, discuss some expectations that you have of the parent. What do you want them to do to help the team there at school accomplish some of Johnny Joe's goals? It could be something as simply as having 15 to 20 minutes of dedicated one-on-one reading with their child 5 nights a week. Okay, it could be something that simple, but just express or convey some expectations that you have of the parent that they can practice at home to help reinforce what you and the regular education teachers are trying to do at school for the student, okay? Any questions on those items? I just kind of wanted to point out those specifics because that seems to be where the most common questions come from. Elsie, is that pretty clear? Understand? Feel good about it?
I'm good.
Okay. Jim, Debbie, you guys good with that? Okay. Just want to make sure. I just want to cover that. Is there any question that maybe I haven't covered pertaining to the portfolio?
I just popped a comment out in chat.
Oh,
about
okay.
the benchmark goal.
Okay.
Dr. Posey, the one thing, I've got a student that it's kind of hit or miss. Do you need 6 different data points? If we end up with 5, will that be
If
acceptable?
you
It's
end
like
up, yes, it will. It
okay.
again, we're during COVID, very flexible. Okay, would like to see that, but also I understand that COVID is depending on where you're at, it's up and down, and everybody, you know, one district's peaking and the other district maybe is not seeing anything until now. So I get it, I understand. Yep.
And mine's just stubbornness. So I just comment that like the student got 1/3 the way through and just, that was it, wouldn't do anymore.
Okay.
That's okay.
Some districts I'm looking on the chat requires you to do long-term annual goals with 3 quarterly. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions or comments? I don't want to just keep you for the sake of keeping you. I don't want to waste your time. I know you guys have a lot going on.
Just got to write these papers.
There you go.
Questions may come as we get going.
And that's fine. We'll be meeting between now and then.
Yeah.
So yeah. And as
Yeah.
you come up across something, jot it down so you can think, hey, when we meet next week, I can ask Dr. Posey, or you can shoot me an email. And if I see a common theme, I jot it down so I know I need to cover that when we first start. And then I just kind of open it up from there. So, okay.
Okay, so I guess to go back to my one question though, once we get into that template, I didn't see anything about an intervention data point, or did I miss that?
Let me go back over here. I might have to bear with me. I might have to go back over and open this up real quick.
And if you guys know, I'm just.
I'm gonna go back over here. I'm opening it up so I can share right to it. See.
Maybe the way I'm interpreting it.
You talking intervention line?
Intervention line, yeah. Because I'm like, because I feel like, working with them is a constant intervention. So that's, I guess, where my confusion is.
Hang on just a minute. I'm gonna go into one other resource real quick. While I'm looking, I can keep looking, and I've got it, and even going back to PowerPoint, and what I'll do is I'll just post it and then send you a message. That way you're not having to sit here and wait on me to thumb through it.
That's fine.
Yeah, I can do that, no problem.
Okay.
That way you're not sitting there watching me just try to thumb through some of that.
Because is the intervention point maybe where if the student reaches the goal, but maybe
yeah, and I think
progresses
it
on?
talks specifically about it in one of the PowerPoints I went over. It talks about the intervention line. So I'll get that information, just post it, and that way it'll show you exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you went through this a couple of weeks ago where
I
we
did on a
had.
PowerPoint on the intervention line. I remember talking about that.
Yeah.
That's why I was going to go back. I couldn't remember what resource I had it in.
I don't remember either. I just remember we had maybe 3 points of testing up front and did a projection line based off of that.
I've got it. I just need to go back, and what I'll do is I'll capture that, then I'll post it and then send you guys a group message letting you know it's on there versus sitting here just having to wait for me to find it, which resource. But I remember, I think 2 weeks ago, I got into that in a discussion a little bit. So.
And I can go back and try and look, because I know I missed a class 1 week, so it may have been that week.
Yeah, and it won't take me long. I'll find it. I just didn't want to have you guys just have to sit there and wait on me to find it all. So,
well, thank you.
That. Oh, you're welcome. Anything else? Everybody good? Okay.
So.
All right, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. If you have a question between now and then, just email me and I'll get to you, and I'll find that information and post it for you.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Posey.
You bet. Thank you.